everybody, and welcome to another episode of Spacejumper. If you are just tuning in with us, my name is Jared, and I am your host. Today, I have a very special guest, Houston's very own Kringe.
How
What's
you
up, brother?
doing, bro? How you doing?
I'm really excited that you're here, man. Thank you for doing this.
Yeah, I'm excited to talk, bro.
Yeah. So I saw a couple of these TikTok videos. Just to go ahead and jump out and talk about this. You, sir, have been on an interesting journey to say the least,
Yeah.
and I'm very excited to hear more about this. So, I guess we could just start off from the top. You started off rapping in middle school, high school.
Yeah, I started off rapping when I was like 13. So that puts me around what, like right before freshman year of high school.
Wow.
That's when I started rapping, but I never really liked rap music.
Mm.
I was big into like Evanescence, AC/DC, like that whole thing.
Right.
But my cousin rapped, and I don't have an older brother. I'm the older brother, so
Mm.
like that's the one I looked up to. So he brought me to a session one time, and just like a little closet bedroom studio.
Right.
Him and all his friends just rapping, doing so good, and I'm sitting there like, damn, like I wanna do this shit too. And I did like a really terrible ass verse. And from there on, like I just have this personality where I get hooked onto things, and
Right.
like I can't accept not being good at something. I'll just keep going and going and going. So like after a while, like everyone split up, did their whole life thing, and then me, I just locked in and was like, I'm gonna get this right, and then it just stuck.
Wow. And that's a tough art too. Like people think, you're just kind of putting words together, and people that don't do that think that it's easy. But in reality, this is a tough art. I mean, maybe one of the toughest
Yeah.
because, you have to put things out there and have these ideas flow to the rhythm of music. And I think that you perfectly executed that with 4 a.m. I mean, that's
Oh
a good
shit.
song, man. That is a great song.
Thank you so much.
So
So,
what actually inspired that?
so 4 a.m. It's almost like a manifestation. Just talking about the things I want to accomplish in my life and like what got me to that point where I was at.
Right.
At that time, I knew that song was special when we recorded it. Took like 2 months. It got traction, and it's just talking about my biggest goal in life. My biggest like thing I want to do is I want to retire my parents.
Mm.
Um, my mom's big into fitness. She's like done the physical training. She does all that stuff.
Right.
Um, I want to get her her own gym, and I want to put her in a situation where she can do what she loves without having to report to anybody or go work a job and train people after she gets off. And then my dad, he's a welder, and they put in hours,
Yeah, they do.
and it's like never ending hours. And my biggest thing was like, I just want to take him out of that position and put him in a spot where he can enjoy life and not have to think about like, oh, I can't stop working because I got to pay the bills,
Mm.
because that's the whole mindset. And I'm just trying to like put them in positions where they can think different ways. I'm fortunate enough where I'm not this big rich dude, but I have so much freedom. Like if I want to experience something, I can go do it.
Right.
And I think that's such an important thing that people don't really get to experience. So it just talks about that, the sacrifice, the people in my mind while I'm sacrificing, and everything moving forward.
Mm. Man, yeah, that's it, it's a damn good song, and it's like I said, it's a very unique art because you know you made a couple good ones. The most recent one
Hmm.
is Baccarat,
Yeah.
and that one goes hard too.
Thank you.
So yeah, man, kudos to that. When you're going, are you writing these by yourself?
Yeah, I'm writing about myself. It's like Baccarat's a good one, dude. Like there's a lot of when you're making these things, it is hard
Right.
because what happens is you start thinking about the people listening. You start thinking about expectations over yourself, them over you. You start thinking about your back catalog. You start thinking about so many components, and it disrupts your process and make it takes you to a place that's not magical. And music is an unexplained like magic. Um, and songs like that, they kind of just happen from repetition. And Baccarat is real special because it just talks about like how you did with this podcast. It compares a metaphor of, I don't know if you ever played Baccarat. You're sitting there gambling. You either bet on the player or the banker, yourself or them, and that's much like life. You bet on yourself. You take losses. You take wins. So it's a direct metaphor for all the bets I've taken on myself. And if you break down the lyrics, it's just it it takes that metaphor and every component of it, sitting at the table with others that have also sacrificed, the stress, the anxiety, the ominous like feeling in the room when you know you can either lose so much or win so much. It takes all of that and it just puts it into perspective with a story. It's a really really good song.
Wow. That wow. Yeah, that's amazing. I am totally gonna look at that song in a completely different way now. Because it's one thing to, to hear a song and kind of vibe to it, but it's another to hear the creators like underlying reason for writing and creating what you're hearing. So that's a big deal, and like I said, I think that you executed that well. And it's a far cry from when you first started.
Yeah.
I saw in the video where you said that
Yeah.
you performed and you were forgetting words and things
Bro,
like
oh
that.
my god, that shit was so embarrassing. Like, and here's the thing, like, there's people in that crowd that I knew from the past.
Oh,
So let me just paint the picture for you.
Yeah.
You're in high school, you're a rapper, but you're the quiet kid that doesn't know how to be himself. So you're wearing the Soldier Boy big shirt, Soldier Boy shades, big. You don't look. You look like you're trying to be something you're not. You take that kid that raps but doesn't rap good, but everyone knows he doesn't rap good. I did the talent show and rap terrible. You take that kid, and then you graduate. Everyone goes off to do their college, to do whatever it is, but you say, no, I know what's for me. And then you run into them a couple years later at a show,
Oh,
and you
shit.
forget your words 3 times.
Yeah.
You tell the DJ to run it back 3 times, and you forget it every single time. And in the front row of a crowd of maybe only 50, there's 2 people that you know distinctively their faces you went to school with, and they're just looking at you, and you just walk off because you can't even finish your set. And then I had to drive some of my coworkers home, so there was a quiet ass car ride home of like, what the fuck was that? And it was just, it was bad. It was a humbling experience. I've had a lot of those that have helped me get to where I'm at, but damn, that was fucked. That was a really fucked up night.
Yeah, yeah, that's definitely one of those things, man. I in my own little world of this podcasting universe that I've tried to create for myself, I have been humbled many times.
Yeah.
As far as downloading, uploading, trying to edit, oh my god, dude, it's been a journey to say the least. But yeah, man, I think anybody that's doing anything can relate to that.
Yeah.
Come here, Larry. Hold on one second.
Yeah.
All right, sorry about that, folks. We had to put Larry up because he had a physical attraction.
So look, I used to work at Gringos. It's a Mexican restaurant, Tex-Mex. Out here I was a server, and there was this pre-shifts. They're supposed to hype you up before
ready
your
for
day.
it?
Yeah, dude, give it a go. But like how jobs will get you like a pre-shift. They'll try to get everybody in the right mind and be like, all right, guys, today we're gonna do the task. We're gonna whatever.
Right.
Well, there was this one pre-shift where he was like, how you practice is how you're gonna play. And I was like, okay, what's he talking about? He said, he just took it in terms of basketball, right?
Right.
He's like, let's say you're in the NBA and you never practice 100%. Practice lazy, but you know you got it in you. He's like, you tell yourself when game day comes that you're just going to show out, but you won't. He's like, that's not how it works. You will play how you practice. So he's like, if you go on through life just bullshitting, lazy, and you're waiting for your moment because you think when your moment comes, oh, I'm going to turn up because I know I'm like that. You're not going to turn up because you've never turned up. You don't know how to do that. You just made that shit up in your mind. So I was like, man, I've always wanted to be this artist. And I said, one day when shit works out, I'm gonna be who I want to be. I'm gonna get this neck tattoo that represents my faith, and it's gonna keep my head on straight. I'm gonna dress a certain way. I'm gonna act a certain way, but I'm gonna do that once it all works out. And I used to always say that. waiting for the day. And I realized after a while, I was scared to be who I wanted to be. I was scared of judgment. I was scared of basically being forced into a life that I said I wanted before I was quote unquote ready. So that shit sat with me for a while. And I was like, if that's the person I want to be, that's the person I'm going to be. I'm going to be that right now. So I went. It was my first tattoo I ever got.
Right.
I went. I got it. Excruciating pain. Some of the worst pain in my life. But afterwards, I looked myself in the mirror and I was like, fuck yeah. Like, this is me. I came home. Mom didn't even look me in the face, bro. You know, I mean, come on, like.
Oh, I know how mamas are.
I get it. Yeah, I'm from a traditional Mexican family, man. She saw that. She didn't even want to look at me. It was like that for a while, and it took a while for them to understand. Because for a second, I just looked like a rebellious kid, but I was never like that. I had a vision for what I wanted for myself, and I just at some point was like, I'm just gonna do it, and that freaked them out for a while. It seems like unhinged or like not calculated. It just seems like sporadic. But it's like, nah, I've always wanted this. I just couldn't tell you.
Wow, man. And you're a very deep thinker. It's quite obvious. And I can resonate with that story because, growing up, I didn't grow up in a family that nobody had tattoos.
Yeah.
Getting a tattoo was like a no-no, you know. And man, I really had some things on my mind, and when I have things on my mind, dude, I'm throwing some ink on somewhere. And but for my very first one, I was real scared and nervous because growing up in my family it wasn't allowed. But I went to the tattoo parlor and I walk in. JC, shout out JC. She kind of helped me with the idea, because she's tatted up, and it was just so. Oh man, I was just so nervous walking in here, and well, it turned out to be this piece on my arm. It says "Know Yourself," and I like the small lettering, and so I got it. And the reason for getting it was it's like a note to myself, so I never forget about that time and place that I was at that moment, And honestly, every piece has kind of helped me through a certain situation. And anyways, yeah, that's just life, because life is crazy, man. Life is so crazy. I have been through numerous situations that have taught me probably the hardest way possible. Anyways, man, so let's just jump back and away from the business for a minute. And let's talk about these Houston storms, man. How did you do all that,
Bro,
man?
I don't fucking know what happened. One minute it was chill, one minute it wasn't. Everything got fucking ripped out the ground. Everything got tore up.
Yeah.
And then I was just. That's it. It's
Yeah.
fucked. It's how Texas is. We're
I know.
terrible when it comes to like storms and preparing and shit. When it gets cold, our pipes burst and we lose power. When storms come, we lose power. Like we just lose power. Like that's just what it is.
Yeah.
It's always some bullshit.
I know, and honestly, it seems like it's been hailing more often than not lately. Like growing up, it never hailed. Ice falling from the sky was like unheard of, and then you get to this point now where it's like hailing once a week.
Yeah.
So.
What do you think of the shit I brought?
Oh, dude, this is legit. I love the hard tea aspect of the Jack Daniels because it's not like anything that I've had before. As far as like, it's not a seltzer.
I was about to say I expected it to be like bubbly and sweet or like even like a White Claw or something.
Right.
But it's literally just like a tea, a little kick.
If it's between this and a twisted tea, dude, I am drinking this all day.
Yeah, dude, it's fucking sick. I'm a dark liquor kind of guy, and yeah, I used to when I was like deep into like riding and shit. I would just every night I have a drink by myself, sit there and just space off and the music and shit. Cause it's hard to like. It's hard to just be.
Right. Yeah.
Whenever you have so much thoughts and just like preconceived judgments over yourself, and then thinking of how others would judge and how things could best be put together, how they should be put together. There's all these buffers that stop you from being like a free flowing creative mind. So like I would drink a little just cuz like dude, my mind is racing. Sometimes I can't sleep. Like I got to play like rain noises really loud so it could be like louder than like all the shit going on in my head. So yeah, that was like my go-to for a minute, just to try to like get rid of that buffer.
Right.
Because for a while I didn't know how to get rid of that shit.
Yeah. Does it help like when you hop in the studio and stuff?
I never do it at the studio. So what I do is I go to Barron Studios in Houston. I don't know if you ever heard of it.
I haven't.
So I write alone. I like to be with myself. I don't like people around me. And then I put my ideas together. Either I produce the instrumental most times, or like someone like Brian Troy sends me something that we worked on, and I write it. And then I go to quote unquote perform it with Jason, which I've been working with for the last probably 10 years. I link up with him, and then we lay it down. But when I'm so about my shit, I will not show up. I will not show up drinking anything. I don't smoke. We won't be around that shit. I won't eat too close to the session because we found out if I eat a little bit too close, I salivate because your mouth is still like it still has the food in your mouth, and you can hear it in the mic, and you can't get as clean it takes. So like there's like specific things we can't have the room like too cold because I scream a lot. So we have a cold ass room and I'm doing screaming takes. I'm breathing in really fast a lot of cold ass air and screaming it back out, and then my voice just fucking locks up. So like when it comes to the studio, like we're locked in, everything a specific way. I mean, I've recorded a lot of shit in bedrooms and shit. Like it's not like I'm this diva that gotta have it all perfect. Yeah. But it's just like shit I'm conscious of, because like when it comes down to that moment of recording it, it's like so fucking important because that's timeless. Like once you record it and you mix it and put it out, like it's
set, yeah.
Forever. It's a forever thing. And if you feel a certain type of way about it, you're going to feel that way forever.
Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting. And so you just recently did like a Tiny Desk type concert. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, so I grew up off instruments. First thing I ever learned was guitar when I was 8 years old. And then you have to learn the piano keys while you're learning the guitar just so you learn notes. So I was in that, and I wasn't no like piano prodigy, but guitar, I was crazy.
Wow.
And then we go to high school, and then I start learning, I'm drumline. So we're going crazy on drumline. And I help write some of the stand tunes that we play. So I'm over here like writing shit out, passing it up, teaching everybody. Now we're playing, the whole band's playing shit together. So like I learned a bunch of different avenues of music.
Right.
Before I really fully jumped into that fucking rap shit. So whenever we come to live sessions, that's like, this first one, it was my first time doing it with a bunch of new people. We're a little uncomfortable, a little reserved.
Right.
But moving forward, we got our team now. And that's just like my home. Like that's just my home. Like they're sitting there talking rhythmic patterns and like coming up with all their harmonies and shit. And I feel like I'm back like in my roots.
Wow.
So it's amazing. So like moving forward, we're going to do more of that because I'm big on performances. That's like one of my most favorite things in the world is to perform the music. It's like my absolute most favorite thing. And when we have a full live band, it just gives a whole different fucking experience to people in front of you. And it takes the sound to another level. You're not just watching like a local rapper anymore. Like you're watching like this rehearsed production that we've been practicing for the last couple of weeks, front to back, intros, bridges, intermissions, and outros. Like it's amazing.
Right. I love the fact that you were actually seasoned in other instruments before moving into rap. And I think that that's crucial to understand, you know, even for the younger generation coming up, that it's not just rap, it's music. You know, there are multiple components, multiple important components that are involved in the creation of music, you know? So that's very cool.
But that's not to take away though, because from people that don't know all that shit and can make amazing ass things, because some people they just got it. It's in their heart. Some people like I don't know if you've seen the Kanye West documentary, Genius.
Mm-mm.
Um, through his upbringing, he was always like nourished in a way where he felt confident in his abilities. So, like, you know, when you're a kid, you're always told, don't do this, don't do that, you can't do this, you can't do that. And I don't think people realize that really, you carry that as you grow up. But his situations with him and his mother, it looked like it was all like, you can do this, you can do that, you are great, you are this. So moving forward, he was just fully in it. This is right, I can do this. And it's not like that with everybody, but some people just have it to where they don't, even though he did go to art school and all that, some people, they just got that like energy,
That soul.
where they're not thinking about what's the right or wrong way to do this. It's just literally like, I'm making music, I'm making art, I'm channeling energy right now. I'm just gonna go in, I'm just gonna do it, I'm just gonna leave. So it's not to take away from people that don't have like music backgrounds, because like you really don't have to. I met some people that like, because for me, like, I learned guitar by I learned the notes, but I learned it by ear mostly. That was where I shine. Like, I'm good at, like, I could hear something, I could play it back. And that's how we would do like a lot of our guitar lessons and stuff. But there's some people that could sit there and break down all these like chords and shit that I can't do. But that don't mean I can't play some amazing ass shit.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, when people stream something, it's because they like it, they feel it. They're not sitting here like, all the like calculated structure is so impressive to me. Like, no, it's like, this shit is hard. This shit made me cry. This shit was, you know what I mean? It's just what you feel.
Right.
That's what it comes down to.
Yeah, man, I saw that you're killing it on Spotify right now. I think, what, 70,000 monthly streams?
Nah, way more than that. Talking about listeners.
Listeners, yeah.
We're sitting around 50K, but yeah, it's cool, man. Like, we got a pretty solid backbone, like, to our fan base.
Right.
So yeah, we got it there. I'm in a blessed position. I'm grateful to be where I'm at, and
Right.
where we're going is like way greater than I can even imagine. I'm just like, right now, my main focus is leaning on my faith and doing my job and leaving space for the higher power I believe in to take it where it needs to go. As long as I'm doing my job right now, which I'm just focusing on my body, my mind, my work, and my people, that's all that matters. Everything else, like, it's about to be taken to another level for me if I'm on my job. So.
Wow. And let's back up a little bit. You said you don't drink or smoke? Well, I mean, you know, like you said smoke.
I don't drink. I don't smoke, dude.
Yeah.
I do drink. I do drink, but I don't smoke, bro. That shit. And there's no like big deep reason. It fucks me up. Weed fucks me up. I smoke, and I get, I don't know. I don't deal with anxiety, but when I smoke, I feel anxiety, and it fucks me up. It's like the backwards, because I know people deal with anxiety, smoke to feel better. I'm the complete opposite. But also, every single instance I've ever smoked weed, I did it wrong. And let me tell you how I did it wrong. Like, okay, for your first time, I ate a whole edible. I did it wrong. That was intense as fuck for me, and I freaked out. And then second time, my homie gave me the fattest bong rip. Fattest bong rip. And then I didn't think I inhaled it right. So he loaded it again. He loaded another one. It was like, here, let's just try like a small one. Turns out I didn't hit it wrong.
Oh, no.
Fucked me up. I was on the sofa like this, fucking rubbing the seat. And my friend's like, are you good? I was like, nah, I don't think I'm feeling it.
Oh, no.
But I'm doing this. And he's like, oh, he's feeling it. Yeah. And I think I'm whispering, but I'm not whispering. My girl's with me. And I start freaking out. And I told her, I was like, hey, come over here, come over here. She's like, what? And I think I'm whispering. He's right here. But I'm really loudly. I'm like, I think I'm going to die. Oh, shit. And she's like, you're not going to die. I was like, I'm going to be the first person to die off weed. And that was the second time. Third time, bro, I went to California.
Oh, no.
With my dude, party alone.
That legal shit will do it to
you.
Oh,
my God. I didn't know that. So we're sitting outside. And since it's legal out there, you just go, you buy a bunch of shit, you bring it home. And when you sign up a lot of places brand new, they get you like a free blunt. So we come back to the spot. All these guys smoke weed religiously.
Right.
They don't know that I don't. So they pass me 2 blunts, and they give them to me. I don't know anything about weed. I've just known my shitty experiences. So we're sitting outside in the pitch black. We're having a great conversation, like me and you. And next thing I know, the 2 blunts are gone. I smoked through both of them, and they were just like, "Hey, did you just like finish your own shit? Like both of them?" I was like, "Yeah." And they're like, "Damn, like you're a trooper. That's fire. Like you smoke." I was like, "Nah." And they're like, "Oh nah, we gave you those just for you to have like on your trip. You take it with you, like smoke it recreationally." It's like whatever. They were passing their own shit, but they seen me in my own zone, so they thought, "Oh, maybe he just like he's in a vibe." No. So I was like, "Oh fuck, I wasn't supposed to do that." They're like, "Fuck no, especially if you don't like smoke regularly." So I stood up, and bro, I stood up, and my knees and my feet. I was like, oh shit, my feet felt like bricks, and it was so heavy, and I was trying to like, it was like an echoey like environment. It was bad, and I sat in the basement with my friend, and in my mind, we were in another galaxy, trapped in a basement that was falling. So he's sitting next to me, and I told him again, here I am. I was like, we're gonna die in here, bro. And he's like, what the fuck is your deal, bro? He's like, don't say that. I was like, oh, I feel it, bro. Like we're sinking. And they had like a little red Buddha over here, and I was like, oh my god, he's staring at me. I was like, he's staring at me.
That's hilarious.
And he was like, hey, I'm gonna tell you what, go upstairs and take a cold shower and leave me alone. So I took a cold shower, and then he's my best friend, Party Alone. I don't know if you ever heard of him, but he lives out there, and I literally, in the middle of the night, I opened this door. I said, hey, bro, I'm mad paranoid. Please let me sleep in here with you.
Let me in.
I said, let me stay in this room with you. And he's like, you're good, bro. And I chilled. And then after that, I said, okay, that's 3 strikes. I'm out, bro. No more weed for me.
Yeah, I definitely know that it could send you to a different dimension in some form or fashions.
But I don't know if you're ever in this world or anything, but I have done like mushrooms and stuff like that.
Some good old psychedelics, huh?
Yeah, I don't know if like you've ever like done anything like that or not.
Yeah, I actually have, and my experiences have been nothing but growth. It was almost as if the world was more true. You know, you saw things for almost how they really were. I had just purchased like a 1993 Jeep,
Cool.
and I think I spent a little too much for it, or at least this is how I was processing things at the time. I'm sitting in my yard, I'm enjoying the sun, and I was thinking, you know, we exchange this currency for items, and also items for currency. And I was like, I just bought this Jeep. I traded my currency for this item. I need to get rid of this item and get some currency back. And so I sold it. I know, I sold it the next week. I was like, man, this is that thing, you know, because it was depreciating in value. And and I was like, you know, I need to get my money and put it in the stock market or something. You know, do you have any significant experiences?
Man, I think everyone should do mushrooms at some point in their life when they feel they're ready.
Right.
It, like you said with me, it was only ever been productive. Literally only ever been productive. I did mushrooms with that at the time. It was one of my business partners, and we had took a trip to Austin, Texas, and we went to one of his houses, and we laid in the grass. And because apparently, like that, I think that was my first time. They're like, you need to be outdoors. You want to be outdoors,
Right.
So at the time, we were like kind of stuck on where to go, like where to take the career, like what are we doing, and took some mushrooms. Oh my God, dude, I felt the heaviest anxiety. Like I sat down, I was like, oh my God, I shouldn't have did this. My neck was tight, my jaw was clenched.
Right.
And I was like, I shouldn't have did this, shouldn't have did bad idea. Then boom, it went away.
You bursted through.
It hit.
Yeah.
And then I found myself sitting outside. And this is gonna sound crazy, bro, but I've had 3 trips. This was the best one.
Okay.
My friend went upstairs and I went downstairs. I went into the grass. He was in the bedroom. But you know, when you're on shrooms, you don't even think about that. He's gone. I'm only worried about this. So I'm sitting in the grass, and the grass were people, the individual grass, right? So I'm sitting up here, and it was like a little, like almost childlike state I was in. I was like, wow, I'm so big. And I'm just like touching the grass. I'm like, I'm so big amongst all these other grass, right?
Right.
So then it hit me. I was like, oh, cool. Like these grass are people. And I was like, I carry a big mission. So it's like, I'm like a bigger person. And I was like, wow, I'm so big. And I just start ripping up the grass. Like, I'm so big. Like, I can just do whatever the fuck I want. And then it hit me. I was like, it was almost like I was talking to God. It was just a higher voice that was way smarter than me. And when it spoke to me, it was a level of understanding that I've never had. And when it spoke to me, it said, you have a big mission. You are not better than anybody. You appear to yourself to be bigger, whatever it is. But this doesn't mean that you're better than anyone. This just means that you're capable of big destruction if you don't know what you're doing. Or you're capable of just great things. And I was sitting here like, damn, my first thought to being bigger than all of these inanimate objects was to destroy them because I could. And it snapped like, no, you've already fucked up. That's the mindset that's been fucking you up. So I'm sitting there like, all these grass were so important. It's such a shroom thought. But it was like these individual grasses were people, right? And I was like, oh, this is just average people. You're everyday person. Everyone looks the same. I look different. I'm so much bigger. Wow, I carry this. No. They were such important parts of the ecosystem. Without all of them, we wouldn't have it. It would just be me sitting in dirt. So it was like, okay, so they are so important, but I can do things that they can't. But also they can do things that I can't. So it was so important for me to realize how like the mission I carried, and sitting in there, it was so weird. I was like, this energy is given to me, and I am just, my skin, my body is just a character. The energy is inside of it. And I was so insecure at the time about how I was perceived, wearing the right things, saying the right things. And I'm sitting there like, none of this matters. Because the energy given to me, no matter who it's in, is the same energy. It was so weird. I was like, dude, it doesn't matter. So as long as I'm putting off the right energy that was given to me, being a good person, it doesn't matter.
Right.
So, and then I had the thought, I was sitting there, I was like, when I die, I will be part of this ecosystem. My energy will sink into this earth. And the impact that I've given to all these individual grasses will help them to continue to grow, but I won't be here anymore. It'll be for them. And then when something else grows that was just as big, it'll also help the others and nurture the others. And when it dies, it'll go into the earth and it'll help them grow. And I stood up, and my imprint was in the sand because I was laying in the grass because I was laying in it for so long. And I could literally see the outline of like my body, and I was like, that's what it'll be like when I die. It'll sink into the ground and it'll feed everybody. As long as I did the right thing, and they'll grow. And it was so crazy that I was like, this is nuts. This is wild. So I had all this jewelry at the time, and I took it off, and I started throwing it. I was like, none of this matters. This doesn't matter. This doesn't matter. This doesn't matter. I was like, the person I am matters. Doing right with what's given to me, that matters. Everything doesn't matter. I started like taking off the meaning of this shit. I'm sitting here like, no socks in the grass, like no shirt, just laying down. I'm like, wow, this is like an amazing breakthrough. And my friend finally comes downstairs. In his trip, he had a spider on him that wouldn't let him stand up. He was struggling with anxiety at the time. And I told him about my amazing trip. And he was like, wow, I missed out on a lot. He's like, this whole trip I was dealing with my anxiety spider. He's like, my anxiety in life doesn't allow me to have amazing experiences because I'm too afraid to. I'm afraid. So he's like, I'm upstairs. I didn't get to have an amazing trip with you because I was so scared to. My anxiety held me back. He's like, just like in life, any of my decisions, my anxiety holds me back from taking those jumps. And I don't get to experience the amazing parts of life like other people because I'm too scared to. And I was like, damn.
Yeah, that's a learning experience.
Bro, it helped us learn so much. Yeah. And, bro, it's amazing. I think everyone should do it when they're ready to, because that's such a big, like, world to be opened.
Right.
And if you're not ready for it, you're just going to get scared.
Right.
You'll freak out.
I'll tell you what, the last time that I did this was the complete opposite of your experience, and it was a good experience. But rather than being big, like you were sitting in the blades of grass, I was this small, like molecular component in like a cell because I was studying molecular biology at the time.
Yeah.
And, you know, I closed my eyes and I could just see the full structure of a cell. And like, here I am, like, I mean, I'm literally watching like the mitochondria work and like pump out
That's nuts,
all this
dude.
power. And what that kind of taught me was that life is so complex, like, you know, and I think it bit my ego also because, you know, here I am thinking that I'm, you know, not thinking, but, you know, I felt powerful. I felt more powerful than I really was. And it brought me down to this level to make me realize like I am much smaller than I think. And there's so much activity in these smaller components and so much action that I need to understand how complex this world is, you know, because that was my goal going through school and studying biology. You know, biology is the study of life. And I didn't even know what life really was until I experienced this stuff. And, yeah, life is complex. And, you know, I always say life is crazy because, because it is like,
Yeah.
and there's so many small components, you know, even just looking at a larger scale, you know, the city of Houston, it's made up of a bunch of buildings, and inside these buildings, there are rooms. Inside the rooms, there are, you know,
Yeah.
carpet and cabinets and places where people live. And then you have the person that lives there and the microbes that live on the person. And, you know, the person may have a dog. Dude, it goes crazy. It's deep.
That shit gonna freak me out.
I know.
So much going on.
It's so much, and it's very complex, and you know, I'm still working on figuring out what life is, but I feel confident that I have a good grasp of what it is because I think that you hit it on the head too in the fact that we are nothing really matters. You know, all these pieces of jewelry or whatever, this podcast, it goes a lot deeper. And I think it really just shows that how people need to be unified and together,
Yeah.
and that we're stronger as one, as a full working piece of structure, you know? And yeah, I mean, you know, I work in cancer research, and when the cell isn't working properly, it starts messing up, and those cells start reproducing, and all of a sudden you have an uncontrollable growth of mass growing throughout the body, you know? So it starts with these small components, and what you can control matters, you know? So yeah, I think unity is big, man. If it, you know, we're all people, we're all
Yeah.
these individuals on this earth, and it really matters that we stick together, you know? And the story that you were saying about the police, you know, kind of bullying you for a couple years, that's not unity, you know? The guy that rammed in the back of my car, that's not unity, you know, flipping each other off on the road, you know, that you know, so yeah, I'm getting humbled daily, man. And it's very interesting to go through life and experience these things because you see a lot in life, and you have to learn from it, because if you don't learn from it, what do? You repeat it, right? And nobody wants to repeat these problems because that causes way more issues than you really need, you know? And unfortunately, I've been a guy that learns the hard way. You know, ever since I was young, you know, it's always I have to learn the hard way, and I know it drives my mother insane, but man, yeah, it's insane, and your journey specifically has been a very interesting, over here mixing up my words, a very interesting one to me, because you said, I want to do this, and now looking at how far you've come and where you are today is probably the most amazing success story that I have seen personally, you know? Because how many people say they want to do something and then do it? Not, I mean, I wish more people did. I wish everybody did. But the fact of the matter is, not everybody is doing that. And you, sir, you followed your dreams, and that's very, very inspirational.
I mean, that's I'm really grateful you said that because it doesn't feel like that on this end. So, it always feels like falling short, especially because like you say, you're being humble daily. It's always like that on this process on my end too. So like obviously you have this big expectation of yourself to achieve something amazing, and then you fall short of that, and then you try to achieve something else spectacular, you fall short of that, and what I guess I didn't realize for a while was although I was falling short of that, I was moving further and further every single time. And yeah, I wasn't hitting what I wanted, but I was falling a little shorter. And every time I jumped just a little bit farther, I was growing something. So I'm grateful you said that because it's hard to appreciate growth when you're just betting so much
Right.
and the return has to be something, and it's not.
Right.
It's something else. It's a lesson. It's a tough time. It's everything you don't want it to be. You would much rather it be stats, money, and finally like
Sure.
levels of your career. You would much rather it be that, but it's not that. You're paid in a whole different way that's hard to appreciate for a while. Because with me, because of everything I've been through, because of how long things have taken and the hard road it's been for me, I'm amazing with people. I'm amazing with communication with people. I work really well with people that are struggling with things. I'm able to help them to communicate their own thoughts and to figure things out for themselves. And just, I'm good at that. And I'm good at managing people because I have to like, I don't know, have to commission like 10, 15 people that all have to work interchangeably on their own schedules and different levels of quality, different communication styles, just different things going on in their life. And I have to be the one in the middle pulling it all together saying, how does this work? So I'm paid that way in knowledge and just new experiences. So again, I'm grateful you said that just because it's hard to feel as if there is success.
Right.
Just because it doesn't look like how you want it to.
Right. Well, I'll tell you this, you definitely are clear on your thoughts. I feel like you have a clear process of thinking, and I do feel like you can identify people's, own thoughts, because, I also, just like your friend with the spider, I also struggle with anxiety, and it's a thing, and it's probably not, everybody's different. There's a different degree of anxiety to everybody, but I have fear all over. I have big goals for myself, and I set big ideas in my mind to kind of strive and achieve, and I get real hard on myself, and that causes anxiety. And I think the story that you were talking about in with how you're progressing, but it's not looking like the progress that you want to see. That really, I think, probably would hit home to a lot of people. So yeah, man. Like I said, your story is amazing, and I think you're doing great things for people. And I think that anybody listening is going to completely agree because like I said, you have a good head on your shoulders, man, and it shows. It absolutely shows. So, how was going on tour?
I did, yeah, I did tour back before I even knew what a Spotify listener was. I did tour. My friend had gotten an opportunity to tour with Xavier Wolf, and
I bet that was crazy.
he brought me along, yeah, and it was that really like that molded me. I got my reps in early. We were doing show after show after show after show. We learned how to interact with the crowd. We learned grit and perseverance in a tough crowd.
Right.
We learned how to just interact with people and perform. I learned that shit early, so it was a dream. Nobody knew my music. Nobody knew who the fuck I was, but just to be there and be on stage and give people an experience, I was like fucking climbing the railings, jumping into the crowds.
Wow.
And then I would
Dude,
go
that's
into
like
the
living
crowds.
the rock star life.
That's what I'm saying, but it's so strange too, cause I was always a quiet ass kid, bro. Like when I'm around new people, I'm quiet as fuck. I don't know what it is. It's just in me to just observe. I'm quiet. I observe, until I'm comfortable. I've always been the quiet kid that was to myself. But then when you put me on a stage, it's a whole different thing, bro. Like it's a whole. I'll be able to show you some stuff after this, but it's a whole different environment. I don't know what it is. I truly feel like that's just where I'm supposed to be. And when I'm on that stage, there's a certain energy that's channeled to me because I am not the same person. Because my girl will come to my shows and she'll tell you the same thing. She's like, it's different when I'm up there. Because on tour, sometimes it's not always beneficial for people, especially an up and comer. Because you're doing music nobody knows. You're the person nobody knows. And they're there to see somebody else anyway. So like your room for gain is pretty fucking small if you're trying to gain fans. But for me, my music's so personal. And when I talk about my experiences to people, they just feel it. And I'm able to like express that there's a moment in the room. And then when the song is done, when my slot is finished, I go into the crowd and I talk to people. When the show is done, I sit at the exit door. And I'll talk to anybody that will have a conversation with me. And we're just sitting there and just talk like you and I. And they follow me and they're like, damn, you're a great dude. I really liked your sound. Cool. And that's how I built it. It was literally like brick by brick through tour. And right. I got a good little backbone of fans because of that. So that was an absolute dream. And we're going on tour in October. So,
wow.
Yeah.
What's your schedule like on tour?
So we haven't booked the full thing yet. Right now, I think we only have like 4 dates. We have College Station. I think we're doing Denver, Colorado, Chicago, Dallas, and Houston. Wow. So far. But we want to just add more to that. I for sure want to hit Albuquerque. That was the best place to perform on our tour. And probably Phoenix.
Very cool. Dude, I definitely am going to pull up to your Houston show. That's dope.
Yeah, it would be sick, dude.
Wow. So how long do you go on tour for usually?
Dude, that tour lasted like a month. And then this tour is only we've got to be efficient with it. Otherwise, it's just really expensive.
Right.
So we'll probably only be out for like a week and a half, 2 weeks. We'll just do literally back to back as much as we can and then be done. And we're traveling with a full band. So we have to make everything tight.
Right.
Otherwise, like we're driving there, driving back, driving there. No, we need to go like state to state to state to state and then back home. What
accumulates the expenses when you're on tour?
Transportation is the biggest one. Transportation and your hotels. Those are fucked, dude.
Yeah.
It'd be bad. I mean, we got a band of 4 or 5 people. So we're talking about at least 2 rooms. And whenever I drove to California a couple times and paying for those hotels was a bitch.
Yeah.
So that's like the most expensive part. And then also I pay my band. Funny enough, bro, a lot of artists don't pay the band. It's odd, but I pay my band. So even on top of them getting money, I'll never ask them to spend money on themselves on my tour. So whenever I have a band do something for me, like I'll pay for their food and then I'll pay them. Just because, like, dude, this is my show. Like, I asked you to come here. This is not, like, you know what I mean? I'll take care of you.
Right, yeah. It takes time, too, you know.
Yeah, it takes time. And I mean, I know it's more, I don't take home as much money because I like to do that, but it makes for a better show. It makes for a better experience for the crowd. It makes for a better like circle. And overall, like this is like a long game.
Right.
I'm building a community. I'm not just booking a guitarist. I'm building like a circle that I'm going to take with me for the next 10 years.
Wow. So where do you hope to move into next?
What do you mean, like genre-wise or like?
No, are you thinking about swapping genres?
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay. Yeah, no. I meant like, what's your intentions in the, you're gonna just build your brand for the next 10 years.
Yeah, bro. I realized you can build this shit without being famous. I thought you blow up and then you get paid, because all the opportunities come in. Bro, I'm 50,000 monthly listeners. I don't work a job. I get paid enough. You can make it happen. There are ways to do it. Like, there's a skateboard manufacturer that I found, but it's because I built relationships from the ground. Like I do with those guitar people, I invest so much. There's a good skateboard manufacturer that was able to give me a special price. And he's like, we can drop you 100 skateboards at X price. It only costs this much, and you'll make $2,000. Sick, cool. Let's do it. Oh, I got booked for this show. and it was $800. Okay, cool. Let's put that in the same month. Okay, cool. I'm gonna sell a feature this weekend, and then I'm gonna sell beats the next weekend, and then you have stable income. Like, you can do it. I think
Right.
people are so intimidated by it because of like they feel so like unappreciated and unnoticed at somebody at a smaller level. But bro, you can do it. Like, you really can. So like, I'm not looking for the fucking big hit, because taking a 20% gain right now, I'd be 20% happier. Like, I'll be good. I'm already good. So I'm
Right.
not looking for the fucking 1000x hit, because I'm already good right now. I'm just trying to scale and make it a little bigger, a little bigger.
Yeah. I like how you're approaching that, man.
I mean, I think it's a more sustainable route,
Right.
because it wasn't before. I used to work in the refineries, and I would just, you make a lot of money in the refineries. I'll put in the hours, and I'll just dump money into music, and it would just be so wasteful. I wouldn't do the right things.
What dump money is in like for studio time or
I would pay for promo. I would pay for Instagram pages to post about me. I would pay for YouTube pages to post me. I would just pay everybody, anyone that would take my money to get to talk about me and put me on their platform. I would fucking pay it. It was wasteful and it was careless. And then once I matured, literally like in the last 3 years, 4 a.m. blew up because I paid a page to post it on YouTube. But it was in a specific niche because I knew the niche. I knew where it was. I knew the sound. It was calculated. I paid one page. And my song went from like, it had like probably a couple hundred streams to in the next 3 days it had 50,000 streams. And I was like, cool, it's going to work. And then that YouTube video now has almost 1 million views. And then now that translated into 3 million streams. But I can't do that every time. That's not the same formula. That was a very specific sound that would work in a specific way. So now like everything's just a little more calculated. But you don't always win. You don't always win. Because this all sounds good. I know right now it sounds like, man, this guy, like, he's pretty smart. I take a lot of losses, bro. I just learned ways not to do things. I take a lot of losses. Because I could say all this shit, but, like, to other people that are higher than me, I'm the small guy. So there's just always room to learn.
Right. I think that's the key, man, is understanding that there is always room to learn, you know? And I think that that's when people stop growing, is when they think that they know it all, you know?
Facts, dude. I've been trying to communicate that to some of my, some of the older people I've met.
Yeah.
They're just kind of stuck in a time capsule.
Yeah, they turn it off. They're like, nope, this is, you know, I'm the pro.
I think it's like a defense mechanism, bro.
Yeah, maybe.
Some people are scared to change.
Yeah.
A lot of people are really scared to change. So when you're talking to like an older person that's like, and you're trying to tell them how things are now, it's one of those, how you gonna tell me? I've been on this earth for so am I. How you gonna tell me? Okay, you don't know how to unlock your iPhone.
Hey.
Okay, you don't know how to airdrop me a file. You don't know how to open a PDF. You do not know how to make, like, come on, times have changed. There's a lot to learn.
These are things that you can learn. Yeah.
There's so much new shit going on. You got to move with the world or you will get left, and then you'll become very bigoted because you're going to feel like shit ain't how the good old days used to be. But it's just because you didn't grow.
Right.
It's great now, too. There's a lot of great things going on now.
I don't think people realize that, man. I think
There's a lot
it's
of great
definitely good for people to hear, you know? So
I mean, it's just because social media, though.
yeah.
Social media, like, fucking put a big-ass magnifying glass. You ever seen The Anchorman? It's the comedy one, right? You know what I'm talking about? With
Yeah.
So, what's his name? Will Ferrell?
Will Ferrell, yeah, that's right.
So look, silly ass movie, but they said one thing, bro, that I think went over everybody's heads. The whole purpose of the movie, they were broadcasting real news, great things that was going on in the community, waste girl, and they were getting no views. And then they posted like a murder. It got so many views, and they're like, wow, people don't really care about the truth. If we only post home runs, murders, success stories, then we'll be famous. And then they fucking did that. And I was like, I don't think people realize That's what social media and the news is right now. They're
Right.
only gonna post shock value shit, and now you think the world is so fucked, which it's always been fucked. But there's a lot of great in it. There's a lot of great in it. There's a lot of uncharted territory. There's a lot of potential growth. There's so much good. You can't just sit in this like, woe is me, the world is fucked like situation. It's not like that.
Right. Wow. Yeah, and honestly, dude, can you believe all these social platforms, man? I mean, you never. I guess that's why X, blew up. It's like this platform for freedom of speech and truth, and yeah. I mean, did you see what they were doing to Twitter before he bought it?
I have no idea. I deleted Twitter. It was just such a bad place mentally.
Yeah.
All I see on Twitter is like people arguing or like just bullshit.
Yeah.
Shit. And I've been trying to be real disciplined with like what I allow myself to consume. So I deleted X or
Really?
Twitter.
What other precautions have you taken to like prevent all this negative income?
Dude, I'm not good at it right now, but I've tried to stay away from my phone. I don't DM as much as I used to. I'm just really locked in on my relationship with my girl, my music, my family, and my faith, and that's it. And that's all I'm locked in on. If it has nothing to do with that, there's no reason for me to do or converse with anything outside of that circle. I've just been real strict about what I allow myself to get lost in on social media, because that's the worst. That's the worst one. I realize whatever you like, wherever your mind's at is what manifests.
Yeah, I completely agree, and I've fallen to that before.
Yeah.
I've fallen right on the knife, man.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's very common, and I think a lot of people do it. And that mental, I don't want to say mental illness, but like suicide and things are up. Suicide and self harm in some form or fashion is up, man. And I'm not saying that that's the cause, but it definitely is an accelerator to these problems.
It's fucked, man. Like, and not only that, like, people are fucking. There are people that can be fucking evil on these things. There's like, people are so desensitized that they don't realize that when they're talking shit to somebody online, they're going the extra mile to like kick someone that is probably already on the fucking edge.
Right.
It's disgusting. Even like if I'm on the console, like the game I'm playing, and somebody loses a game, I'll get paragraphs in my DM about how I should die and like I'm a piece of shit.
What game are you playing?
So I'm playing Apex.
Okay.
I don't know if you know Apex.
I'm on Call of Duty right now.
Okay, so I'm playing, and you know how bad it can
I
get.
already know, dude.
So,
Yeah.
and I'm no saint, bro. Sometimes I'll get to that level.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll get to that levels and I'll just fucking let loose, and then afterwards I'll be like, what the fuck was that?
Yeah.
What was that? Even just yesterday, some dude just fucking went crazy on me, and I guess I had the time of day, and we was just a butting heads of just toxicity, and I was like, dude, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah.
Like this, I had to turn it off. I'm like, this ain't me. Like, what's going on?
Yeah, man. The servers are toxic, man. You run into some crazy cats in those lobbies.
Yeah, especially like maybe like 5-6 years ago, them Call of Duty lobbies were bad, bro.
Yeah.
But it's cool.
They're to the point now where they're actually monitoring and recording all game chats. Yeah. And so
funny.
if people report a player for verbal abuse, they'll go back and they'll listen to it.
Shit, they're gonna block me.
Yeah.
They're gonna block me because I'll play with my friends, and even when we're on the same team, I'll be talking the most shit to them.
I mean, you have to,
Yeah.
I'm sure they're kind of lenient on it, but yeah, man. My friends get competitive too.
Dude, yeah.
I mean, it's there's a lot of talented people that play those games.
He said I'll say that. That's funny. No, there's a lot of sweats that play these games,
Yeah,
bro.
there is,
They'll be fucking going crazy. And I didn't get it. You know what game really brought me over the edge? Call of Duty Cold War.
Oh yeah. I didn't play Cold War. I was on Modern Warfare 2 back in the day, and then that's
you're
last.
the OG.
Yeah, that's the last Call of Duty that I played, and then I finally got.
Did you get remastered?
No, I didn't. But I finally got. I've been getting on Warzone lately.
Yeah.
Dude, I'll go ham on some Warzone. Yeah. We'll hop on some trios on Resurgence, and yeah, it's done for.
Once I got on Apex, that is my absolute most favorite game of all time.
Dude, I've never played it. I
So,
feel like I need to play it.
I
What
started
console are
it.
you on?
I'm on Xbox.
Okay, me too.
And
yeah.
I was like, dude, this game is like kiddie. I was like, what are we, like aliens shooting each other? This is lame as hell. No, dude, it is a team-oriented game. You cannot play alone. You need to have a mic and you need to communicate. Everyone has different abilities that interchange with each other. It's just you need to be on your A game, and that's what makes it fun. It's almost strategic, where there's like, oh, we got 12 people in a vicinity. You have a character that can smoke out a building, and I have a character that can see through walls. So we're gonna smoke this building, and we're gonna watch them, and we're gonna rotate here. And it's like, it's cool. It's like fire.
Dude,
but
100%.
But then
100%
you
a
get
team
to that
game.
edge. You get to that edge, and then you're just like, what the hell was that, bro?
Yeah. Have you saw X Defiant came out?
No.
X Defiant's like supposed to be like the Call of Duty killer, but I played it, and so a couple of my friends like it, and
Is it like really colorful? It's like a really colorful game. I'm thinking of something else.
No, yeah, that's something else. It's like it's a first person shooter game, but it's not colorful. It's like people, you have like these powers, and you could like put out like a force field and things that you could like shoot through. But yeah, no, it's not.
So like I think the name is like Valorant or something.
Oh, I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah,
some shit like that. But yeah, I love those games. I think that's
honestly,
fire.
yeah, and it takes a high level of skill for each player on the team. You know, I mean, you have to be you can't. You got to be good.
Yeah, I stopped playing with some friends because I was like, "Hey, bro, I love you, man, but you're holding me back, dog.
Exactly,
This is I cannot shine right now."
Yeah, it definitely takes some time. So how was touring with Xavier Wolf?
So I never talked to him. I was a guest on that tour. I was a guest of a guest.
Right.
So I kept my respectful position. I did what I knew to do. I talked to the crowd, and then I just kept it moving. I didn't really talk to any of them much. Right. It was really more so about me and the audience in front of me, and that was really it. But I mean, one of the best times of my life. One of the best times of my life.
That's what I was going to ask. Did you meet anybody on tour that you kind of learned from, and maybe, because I mean, you have some really good leadership qualities for what you do, and I'm trying to figure out, are these just things that you've kind of developed on your own over time, or was there
because I was quiet, bro.
Yeah,
like
I feel like that's always the smart people, you know.
But I mean, I was just learning. Yeah. Like I knew what mode I was in. So I was sitting there in every situation. I was the quietest in the room, and it's just I didn't have much to say. What am I gonna say? I'm the new kid. Well, I'm sitting at a table full of people that do this. What the fuck am I doing talking? So I would never talk. I would just only listen, and that would be it. And it was like that until maybe like the last 3 or 4 years. Cool, I have some knowledge now. I fucked up enough that I know something. But even then, I like to learn, bro. Like I'm like an information like addict, bro. Like if you got some new information for me, some new perspective, bro, I want to hear it. I don't care if you like got years in this business or not. Like maybe what you say might not be correct, but it'll encourage my thinking to something else. Like it developed for sure.
Every thought gives birth to another thought.
Yeah, like straight up, it does. Like I had a homie give me advice today that made like it didn't resonate with me. But then I kind of like took it somewhere else. I was like, damn, okay. So let me encourage that thought for a second. And then it took me somewhere else. But I mean, I have older friends.
Right. How old are you right now?
I'm 27.
Okay. Yeah, we're the same age.
I got older friends, you know, like late 40s, early 50s. And I call them and they just like drop wisdom on me. And they've done that for the past years. So it just, they kind of like molded me on how to think because they are leaders. And it was always about every situation, whether I'm struggling or not, it's about how to be a better leader. Whether I'm pissed off, whether I was done wrong, whether I did wrong, how to be a better leader in this current situation. That was always the conversation. And it just helped.
Yeah, man, the people that you keep around you really mold who you come out to be, you know?
Yeah.
And I think that that's very important. And, you know, because you can't have trouble around you all the time and expect to not be trouble. You know, like
That's a hard truth, man.
it's and it's kind of hard because you know sometimes those people are close or people that are close to
Yeah.
you, and in reality they're maybe like they're not good at the game. They're you know they may be holding you back a little bit, but man, yeah, like I said, life is crazy, man, and I did see on that video that you got to sign your very first autograph on was that on tour?
Yeah, bro. Well, my first autograph, we didn't get it on video. That was my first autograph on like merch. Uh, but it was in New Mexico on tour with Wolf, and I signed someone's dollar, and I was like, when I have my own tour, I want you to give it back to me. And they're like, all right, Ben. They still follow me to this day.
Wow.
So a super dope moment. But what you saw was, bro, it wasn't even my show. We were pulling up to like some other person's show, and 3 of my fans were just there, and they ran up to me in my shit and was like, oh my God, like, sign my stuff. And I was like blown away that they were even fucking there. It was nuts. But that's what that was. And that was an unforgettable moment too.
Wow, man. Yeah, it's always been a dream of mine. Maybe I want to sign somebody. My friend Trent, I was cracking up because he's an MMA fighter, and he trains over in Sacramento under Uriah Faber at Team Alpha Male, and he had a fight in Beaumont, Texas that I went to, and he got a second round TKO, hops out of the cage, and somebody pulls out a marker and has them sign their head. And so he got to sign somebody's head, and he was like, dude, that was the first head that I've ever signed, and it was awesome. Yeah.
That's so funny. I mean, it's cool. I still am like kind of like uncomfortable with it because there's like that humble side of me that's like, come on, bro. Like, but they're like, no, like it's special.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess you never really understand the impact you have until you run into moments like that.
Absolutely.
And someone's like, no, this is valuable to me. I want you to sign this. I want to remember this. And you're like, damn, cool.
Yeah, because you're doing some amazing stuff. You know, like I said, you're into poetry. I feel like you have this like poetic way about your music, and it's very cool to listen to because after knowing some of the history behind your work and knowing that you write your own music, it's really cool to listen to your music because you really are portraying this scene through these words, and I can 1000% see how that helps people, and it helps me. I was listening to a couple songs today, and I'm like, oh shit, like, you dig deep, and it's really awesome, man. It's very cool.
We're about to go deeper though.
Oh,
just because
we're gonna dive down.
Yeah, just because it's like, I don't know. I think if I'm not being my most true, most vulnerable self, then like, why am I even gonna make music? If it's not going to be the most rawest and truest I can give. So we're about to dig a lot deeper. We're going to go back into my roots of just like guitar and stuff like that and go heavy, like just rock influenced rap. But we need to only talk about things that matter, speak of things that matter, and treat the whole thing as important as it really is. Because we're just kind of getting lost in the monotony of like creating, putting out, creating, putting out. And then after a while, it was just like we were just kind of fishing. I was telling my friend today, it felt like we were just fishing. Like, and every time we made a song was a time we casted the line. But every time it was a good song was a time that we caught something. And it's like, oh, cool, we caught one. Like, let's just put it out. This is a dope song. There wasn't like a big, like, I don't want to say intention. The story wasn't as important as it needed to be. Like, I have 2 albums that I took off Spotify. But we had this one album called Don't Think Too Much, and it was the first time I had a big viral video. Had like 3 million views in one day. And the fucking album got so much streams, and it was so meaningful, the whole process. Whether or not it was blowing up, it was a moment with or without streams. It was a story. It was a story of the separation of my family. From front to back, you can feel it. We had intermissions talking where you hear voice notes and situations, and it was art. It was beautiful. And people stayed with me for the next like 3-4 years because of that piece, whether or not it had streams. And I just want to get back to that because I think once you start, like, it's so weird. You start off fully ambitious, almost ignorant,
Mm.
and then you think you can do whatever you want in the world because you have this quote unquote ignorance. Then you get into it, and then you learn about algorithms, analytics, quality, output. All these things start to like shit on your perception of potential.
Mm.
Things don't find success because they're amazing. Things find success because X plus Y equals Z. That's why. And now you start going from being a dreamer who's putting real works of art together to someone who's doing an equation that works, but you're finding out how you fit in that equation. I want to get out of that because I don't want to be a person that just lives in this physical world. I want to be a person that lives in the spiritual world where I'm connected in my spirituality and I'm creating things that really fucking matter. Because before, when we were not worrying about streams, we were getting all the streams. And then once the streams come, oh, now you got to work on the business and try to keep it going. Now we're worried about streams and business. And then it just started like losing its magic.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to get back to that. So I started about to get deeper because I want to get back to that almost, it's going to look almost crazy to the outside people because it's like we're not playing by the rules anymore. I'm solely leaning on my spirituality and my faith and what I feel with prayer and meditation is the right fucking move. Because we've done the other shit for years now. And it brought me nothing but like torment and just belittling myself and feeling unworthy and feeling stupid to before when it was at its height where it was just all possibility, learning, growth, expression. It was just so free. I just want to feel like that freedom again.
How do you plan on breaking out of this algorithm that
Bro, it's going to sound, I'm just going to stop listening to people. Like, straight up. And it's not, I'm still going to take, I still have my mentors. I still have my people I trust. But industry-wise, everyone's always giving me advice on what I need to do, and I would always listen to it. But then every month it'd be something else. This is what you need to do. And then, cool, we call next month. Actually, this is what you need to do. Actually, this is what you need to do. Because everyone's learning. And I've figured that out. At every level, everyone's just trying to figure out how to get past their level. And people that are at that level all got their different ways. So their truth is not necessarily his truth. It's not necessarily his truth. But they all got there. So that's what I sat with. We're like, okay, well, there's a million ways to get there where you're at. And you're telling me your way, and I appreciate that. But I could take that and apply it to my way. And it worked in the past. And I can either say I got lucky, like industry people will say, or I can sit and believe that that was me being my truest self, leaning on my faith, leaning on my spirituality, creating something that mattered with the intention on impacting people. It could either be that or it can be luck. I'm not going to live in a world where I'm an equation that's trying to get lucky. I'm going to live in a world where it was the other example. So that's how I'm going to lean on that. It's just be me, my prayer, my meditation, my creation, and my only intention will be to affect lives. And I believe that's the equation that works.
I think that you're onto something because, you know, it takes a lot to not pay attention to anything, you know, because there's, like you said, there's always something. There's always somebody telling you that you should do something else. And that's hard to be like, thank you for the advice. I'm going to do this, you know, and, you know, and it's hard to see for, you know, for me, at least in my personal experience, it's hard to see somebody where they're at and understand what it takes to get there unless you actually do that to, you know, go that route yourself, you know. And but that goes back to understanding and believing that you are the man and that you will do it. That's key, you know. So
Yeah, but it's not, just to clarify, it's not that I think I'm the man. I just understand that my God that I believe in, that is the energy, and I'm just a vessel. My everyday work is to be a better vessel, and the answer is there. That's right. That's where I believe. So I believe. So yes, in a way where you're like, I'm the guy and I can do it. being connected spiritually to that, and just throw everything else out the window, because that shit, it doesn't bring joy. And like whenever you're in the car, and I'm sure you've had some times where you hear a song and you get emotional, and like it just brings you
Sure,
to a
yeah.
place. I don't believe that that's because it was the equation at the right time. I don't believe that was just a perfectly calculated thing, which a lot of pop songs are like that. But we're talking about like the real shit that you feel. I just strongly believe like Nirvana and all them is just, it was just them being their absolute true raw self, and them just being connected to the world in a way where there's just no outside influences. They are just an energy. They are just an entity. That's sick. That's dope. I think that's like a place that a lot of people will probably never fucking get to. So that's where I want to be.
Yeah, you're definitely on the right track. So I saw on your profile that you actually had a chandelier tattooed on your chest.
Yeah.
And that story kind of reminded me about the reason that you had said, you know.
Yeah.
And the idea of being a vessel,
Right.
you know, is very important. And I don't really want to butcher your story, but if you would like to tell the story about the chandelier.
It's just pretty simple. The chandelier is like a staging of light. It is not the light itself, right? So with that, it's like the chandelier is a vessel of light, but it is not the energy. Just like we're a vessel of energy, but we are not the creators. It's like that. It's real simple. This was a symbol that was on one of my cover arts to one of my songs called Highs and Lows. It was just a really, really, really like rough song to make. It's really true, really hard to talk about. And it was just a very like important moment. So that like symbolism, it just carried on with me. And then you just got it tattooed on the chest. And that this shit was like a last minute thing too. Like we were gonna get something, and then we showed up and literally switched the image last second. And he was a tattoo artist, really great artist at Gold Rush Collective, and he was just like, "Fuck it, let's do it, run it." And he did it, quick, easy, nice, and it's easily my favorite tattoo I have.
Really?
Super sick, yeah.
Wow. Did that one hurt?
Bro, I didn't think that chest tattoos would hurt. I don't know why I didn't think
Oh
that.
man.
It was so bad.
Yeah.
It was. I don't even remember the pain. I remember the pain of this being bad, but the pain of this was just something else, because it goes all the way up into this soft spot. So he was having to push into this soft spot. It was bad. It was
Yeah.
pretty fucking bad, but it only lasted like, I think it was maybe 2 hours. Really fucking quick.
That is
dude.
fast, yeah.
Yeah, but it was pretty painful. But I want more. I need a lot more. It's just I like my tattoos are really expensive, but they last long. So I can't get them as often.
Right.
Cause
What makes them last long?
I don't know, dude. It's like when I'm with my so there's a tattoo artist named Alex, and he's at this shop. I can't think of the name right now, but he did this one, and he was always telling me, he's like, you get what you pay for. He's like, no offense to anyone that's gotten cheaper tattoos, but he's like, there's techniques and levels to this. So he's like, if you do it right or go with the right person, these things will last you a really long time. I got this back in 2017, 18, 19, 20, 1, 2, 3. So we're talking about 7 years old.
Oh wow.
And the lines on this are not bleeding.
Yeah.
There's still like a defined line. A lot of people get neck tattoos and they bleed and they spread. This one hasn't yet. And I'm sure it will as I get older, but it hasn't yet. And in 7 years, I know people with neck tattoos that it bleeds, it spreads. The lines aren't as defined when you get close up to them. And this one is like a really detailed rose. It was really expensive. I don't even want to say how much it was, but it's a micro tattoo.
Yeah.
And this one is, dude, I think this one's like 3 years old, 3 or 4 years old.
Yeah, the line work on that is good.
Yeah, like up here, and the way it's faded into the skin. Like
Dude, that's amazing.
It looks
actually.
good.
Yeah,
it looks
does.
it looks really good. So
I mean, it looks like a real rose. You know?
yeah, it's like realism. So I'm gonna get some more. I'm gonna get a tattoo here that I don't want to talk about yet because I don't want no one to steal my idea.
Okay.
Because no one's got it. But I'm gonna get basically everything, but it's just gonna be really a high quality art. It's gonna be fire.
No, that's awesome, man. I think that getting high quality art is the key. You
Yeah.
Because I mean, it's your body and it's forever,
Yeah, it is forever. Some people get like just patchwork. Just oh my bad. Just like patchwork. It's just like shit everywhere.
Yeah.
That looks cool too. That's an aesthetic.
Right.
I almost wanted to go with that for a while, but then it just wasn't. It's just not the look for me.
Right.
Like my friend in LA, Party Alone, he has patchwork style tattoos and they look great on him.
Right.
I just don't think it's the look for me.
Right.
Especially like if I go from like the big detailed chandelier to like patchwork, it wouldn't work. I've already made my bed. I gotta like keep going.
Nice. Well, I think that your style is pretty unique, which kind of translates back to your art. Your art and your music is unique in many forms and fashions. So,
Appreciate that, man.
what inspirations did you have, like as far as music?
At first, it was like ever since I was little, I wanted to be a rock star. So, like I said earlier, I was like Evanescence, big fan of Evanescence, big fan of AC/DC, Metallica, Nirvana, all of that, and Jimi Hendrix. I loved all that shit. And then that's all I wanted to do. I had this vision, bro.
Some Jay Hendrix right here.
Yeah, some fucking I was just telling you earlier that "Hey Joe" was the first song I learned to play by Jimi Hendrix, and I'm like fucking 9 years old playing a song. It talks about somebody like killing their wife,
Yeah.
and I'm just sitting here like a 9-year-old. I'm like, I love this song. It's so good. But I was like deep into that, and I had this vision, bro. Ever since I was little, my mom kept them too. I always said, I want to be a rock star. Ever since I was 8.
Wow.
So they're in elementary, they would make these flip books, and you would every year at the end of the school year, you'd flip it to the next grade, and you would write what you want to be when you're older. And I have it in my room right now. Every time you flip it, it would be a different picture, me older, but it would say a rock star, a rock star, or it never changed, a rock star. And then that was it. Every year, I want to be a rock star, and I had this vision ever since I was little of me on a stage performing. And when we went to elementary school, they had a guitar program. I was the only kid with an electric guitar. And when I went into that room, it changed the environment of everything. They were playing a little classical music. But then we ended up doing a whole performance with Smoke on the Water. I don't know if you know that song.
Yeah.
And I was
Dun,
I was
dun, dun,
I was
dun,
playing
dun.
the lead guitar.
Yeah.
Um,
Man, that was like the song back then, man. Because we're the same age, and back in the day, man,
Yeah.
Smoke on the Water was.
so I was playing
If
that.
you
I
know
was
to play that, you were cool.
I played it then, and so I think that's why, like, I always like found myself like just performing is where I'm supposed to be.
Right.
It's just instilled in me since I was little that like I just had the thought, the idea. If I'm confused about anything in life, that is one thing I'll never be confused about. I am made to perform. So I am like always set on that. And ever since I was little, just perform random places. I used to even do plays. When I was little, when I was tiny, my mom has me like doing like just plays. I don't know, something about performing.
Man, that's amazing. I had when I was in school, they gave me a flute, one of the little three hole flutes.
Like a recorder?
Well, I don't actually know. It was like those plastic ones.
It's a
It's like
recorder.
see through. Yeah.
It's a recorder.
Man, I thought I was so cool. I was like, like Mary has a little lamb, and I was
Yeah.
like, man, this goes hard.
Yeah, I think I don't know, bro. Schools went through an era because every kid had that.
Yeah.
At every school they had record. I don't know if they just got a budget jump, but they bought everybody those plastic recorders.
Man, I have nieces and nephews growing up right now. I don't think that they have been sent home with one.
No,
Maybe
there's
they don't do that anymore.
There's new programs in because my girlfriend's a teacher.
Oh, okay.
So I get all
what
the,
does she teach?
I get all the inside.
Yeah.
She teaches right now she teaches. Well, it's not that simple anymore because everything's changed.
Right.
So now they got NES programs.
Is it you talking about? It's changed since after COVID, or
It's just structures have changed.
just over time?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Because I know she's doing. They were teaching about philosophers, and a bunch of other shit. Like, I know. So a lot places, some good has happened and some bad has happened. Just perspectives, but there's new programs now where they are taking out music. They got rid of music. They got rid of dual language programs.
Oh,
They got rid of a lot. Yeah, she has some kids in her class that don't even speak English, and they're failing terribly just because they don't have a program to put them in.
Oh no.
I know. She has a kid that speaks.
This is grade school.
Yeah, it's third grade, second grade. She has a Ukrainian kid that doesn't speak English, and it's just always failing everything because she doesn't know what's going on.
Right.
And she has a pretty diverse class, and there's like 3 students in there, no English, and they just have nowhere to put them, and they have no music programs
Right.
anymore. They took them all out because everything is test focused right now.
Right.
I think they increased some of the school days and the NES programs, and
Yeah, yeah, and the results depend on government. You know, the what the results show is government funding
Yeah.
related. You know, like I mean, dependent, I should say, because I used to work. I used to teach 8th grade science,
oh shit,
and that was an experience, man. It was eye opening. So I moved to Houston, and I get a job in sales. Found out I didn't want to do sales, so I get out and I find a job teaching middle school science. Great. I did the interview. Everything went great. I started, and the first day, there were like 5 fights. There were people. This isn't the first day, but there were students trying to stab teachers. Like I had to tackle a student right before they jolted scissors in one of the teachers' necks. I mean, these are big boys.
yeah,
These are, I mean, 8th grade. These are big boys, and yeah, man, I saw all kinds of stuff. I had parent teacher meetings, and
right,
it was very eye opening. And working there, I found out that, you know, if these students aren't doing great on these exams, then they don't get as much funding, you know? Or if there's not a lot of students in the school, they're going to take back funding that they had already given previously. I know they were stressing at the place that I was working. They were worried that students would move schools after like the first or second week because each student was like several $1,000s ahead, and they had already been pre-funded, and if students left they would have to give that money back, and they were trying to
oh
do
wow,
anything and everything that they could to not have to send that money back. But another thing is, I this you know, some of these schools, they're budgeting heavy, man. I mean,
yeah,
you should have seen the cafeteria lunches that they were feeding these kids. I'm talking about a scoop of peas and a piece of cornbread.
yeah.
I mean, getting government funded per head and then feeding the students junk.
That's why a lot of teachers quit though, because I'm sure you took home a lot of stress too, and
Yeah,
it was like a never-ending thing. Even though you weren't at the school, you were still worried about the school, worried about the students.
exactly.
I can imagine that's why a lot of teachers quit. Because for her, she's moving on to speech therapy, so she can still be in the school system. But it's just, dude, it takes a hit on your soul once you realize you can't help these kids.
Yeah,
And that was her biggest thing, and that's a lot of teachers' biggest thing, where they start because they genuinely want to teach and help kids.
right.
Then you realize the system in play doesn't allow it.
Yeah,
So you're just like, what am I even doing?
yeah. And that's the same thing in medicine. I hate to say, you know, it's the same thing in medicine. You know, doctors go into medicine wanting to help people, and it turns out at the very end of the day, you know, there's way too much money involved and way too much financial backing from coming in from elsewhere that, you know, all that really matters at the end of the day to business is more money, you know, and it sucks because you may not be getting the best care, but you're dang sure getting billed for it. You know what I'm saying? So there's some really deep and unfortunate things that are involved in this system, you know?
Yeah, that's why my biggest goal. That's why I want to retire all my people and take care of them, just because I know that as fucked up as it sounds, like if you don't have the money, you won't be getting cared for. That's just what it is. You know, my dad was in the hospitals for a while, and it really was that. It really was checking what kind of insurance you had
Yeah.
to see if you're even like gonna get the right treatment. And I hate that. I hate that like anything could happen to anyone around you, and it's really like, okay, well, can we afford this?
Right.
And that's fucked. I hate that shit. So
Exactly.
that's one of my biggest goals, to take him out. Because, dude, I see my dad in the hospital, man, and It's just it does something to you when you see the man that you thought was like indestructible break down,
Right.
and slowly over time, it's just it does something to you, and so that's why it's like I'm just trying to get everybody in situations where they don't have to worry.
Right.
So anything happens, the last thing on our mind is, are we getting billed? The first thing we need to think about is like getting you all right, and that's it.
Right. Yeah, I had a guy on who had a friend. She got hit by a drunk driver,
Oh wow.
and she went into the hospital, and she didn't have any insurance. So they said, you look fine, and like pretty much booted her out. But she had like spinal cord injuries. She had trouble walking. I mean, and I think she's still recovering. But yeah, the medical system, and along with many other systems, are completely fucked. You know.
Yeah, it makes me sad, dude, because like my heart is like, damn, like one day I would love to create something to help people, but it's like it's so much bigger than that.
Yeah.
It's not like you're gonna just create something that helps. It's like, no, they're creating things to make sure others don't create things to help.
Right.
Because I'm not the first one that has a heart. You're not the first one either. We're not the first one that thinks this is fucked. Sure, there's a lot of people, even positions of power, that think this is fucked, that can't do shit about it. It's really, it's terrible. It scares the fuck out of me. Like I hate going to the doctor because like I'm like, dude, I don't even know if I'm gonna get like cared for right, and then just whatever.
Yeah.
So I try to take care of my health now as much as I can.
Yeah, health is really wealth, honestly.
Yeah.
You know, I've had my fair share of hospital visits. You know, my dad was in and out of the hospital as I grew up, and I was actually telling you a story previously before starting this thing of why I started it. You asked me, you know, what made you want to start a podcast?
Right.
Well, just for the listeners, the reason for starting this podcast was, you know, I wanted to do a lot of things. There were an ongoing list of things that I wanted, and you know, I wanted to go to medical school. I wanted to make music. I wanted to do all these things, but I never did them. And I always talked about it. Oh, you know, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. Well, about a year ago, my dad passed away, and the last thing that he told me consciously was, talk is cheap, you know? And that one hit me hard. I was like, you know what? Why did he say that? You know? And it's just one of those things that, you know, I even have, like I said, I have that tattooed on my wrist. Talk is cheap. And I thought to myself, you know what? If he told me that, you know, some of the last things that he told me, then I should really think about what he said, you know? And so I had already been in my mind thinking about this, and I was like, you know what? I'm done talking. I'm going to do it. And so over the past year, I've been piecing this thing together one by one, inch by inch. I've been crawling. And finally, we have a full podcast set up. So this will be episode 18.
And it's really nice, dude.
I appreciate that.
For sure. Like, I really want to congratulate you on that, because that's a terrible tragedy. It's a terrible, terrible tragedy I can't even fathom. And for you to take a moment like that and be like, man, I'm going to remind myself of this, and I'm going to move forward and do something great. Like, I want to fucking applaud you on that. That's amazing.
Well, thank you, sir. Yeah, thank you. It you know, like you said, you know, when you see somebody that you've looked up to your whole life, and it's this indestructible person, kind of fall, you know, it'll make you think. It'll put life into a different perspective, and it definitely did for me. But life is crazy, you know, and that's the thing, you know, smile now, cry later, you know, and I think that piece, you know, that in general, that idea of, you know, dealing with the rest of all these problems and just focusing on what you have in front of you is very powerful, you know. And I think that that's what you were doing. You know, you're off of social media for the most part. You're focusing on all these main pieces that really develop who you are, you know.
Yeah. I mean, the social media part is the hardest, but because,
Yeah.
you still need to be consistent, especially if you're a music artist. But I'm just trying to take away the indulgence side of it. Because, like, that whole swiping, passing time,
Yeah.
you're just passing time.
Yeah, TikTok is definitely, it makes it easy and convenient for
Yeah.
people, you know, to just, I mean, it's doesn't even stop
And
as
their
soon as you swipe.
algorithms are
Yeah.
so good.
Oh,
So
yeah.
it's like every time you swipe, it's not like you're seeing something you enjoy every single time. So
Yeah.
it's for sure tough.
It's crazy how it hones into your interest, you know.
Yeah. And yeah, because like there's things I will see that are insanely viral on my page that you'll probably never see because it's not for you. It's such a big app, dude.
Yeah, isn't it crazy how diverse this world is?
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many people here to even have that ability to be scrolling through something that's viral on your algorithm and not viral on mine. You know, that's so
Yeah.
it's so crazy. You
And
know,
then we're
because
just seeing the English side of it too.
exactly, and I think that's why, you know, I think I watched an interview of Mr. Beast.
I was just about to say,
Yes, yeah,
fucking genius.
he
man.
had all his videos converted into different languages, and it just
He said he had 50 channels, dude.
that's crazy.
And
That's
just all the same videos,
crazy.
just translated. It's so genius because like, it's so genius
It really is, yeah.
to think he creates something that already the world wants to see. He has a huge demand, but people can't watch it that speak Spanish. People can't watch it from Portugal. So I'm just gonna convert the language, and it's gonna be just as successful. I'm literally just multiplying my success by like 50x. That is crazy.
Insane, bro. Insane.
But his come up was wild. I mean, I don't know if you ever seen the videos where he used to count to 100,000, and that's how he came up. I don't know if you've seen
I
those.
didn't know.
So
I didn't
he
know
blew up from literally sitting in front of the thing, the camera, when YouTube really wasn't that big of a thing. And he was like, okay, I'm going to count to 100,000 in this video. He would sit there. He would have they're still there, hour and hour and hour long. I think he counted for a day straight one time, straight 24 hours, just there doing his numbers, just saying the numbers out loud. And it was literally looked like insanity. It was just blowing up because it was like, who the fuck is this weirdo? He just knew. I guess he just knew.
Wow.
And that's crazy. I could never. I mean, it seems simple, but like,
Yeah.
nobody was down to do it.
I saw a video where he was saying that he met every day for a year with like 4 other like-minded individuals, and they learned and studied algorithms, what makes things go viral, what catches people's attention, what causes retention,
Right.
you know. So they did some work on studying and trying to figure out what it is that makes what we call the internet tick, you know. What makes this tick? What makes these people click, you know? And yeah, man, it's insane.
Well, I used to do. If you scroll far enough, I used to make skits. I used to do comedy shit.
I could see that.
So
yeah.
like going way far back, dude, I didn't realize how big it was until like I stopped. But I developed like an eye for like videos. I know how to make good videos, and now it's translated over to music videos. I'm investing all my time into that, and I have great music videos, but I'm about to bring it back to social media. But I used to do comedy, and I used to go viral like every 4 days. It was big. It was big. I didn't realize because I was so young, like how big it was. I got like 3 million likes to my page just from comedy. So there for sure is like there's a way to create a video to keep attention. And I figured it out early on, but then I let other people get in my head, and it turned into, well, if you're making funny videos, when are they going to know you for your music? What I was doing was building a fan base with comedy and then making promo videos that are also comedy but has music in it. And so I would do 4 or 5 videos of nothing about music, 2 videos about music. And I would just kind of like start pushing them over a little bit. And it was working. But then I let people get in my head when they're like, you don't want to be known as a comedy guy. You want to be known as the artist. You're right. I stopped. And then I went full music. Then I went full, like, deep into music for a while, just creating. And I didn't post for a year. It was just music. And then when I came back, I lost all the momentum. Everything was gone. And so now, like, being desperate at that time, what do I do next? More advice. Left and right. When every big pivotal moment of success for me was solely me saying this is a good idea and doing it. Every downfall was taking fucking advice about myself from people who didn't fucking know me. So there is a way to do it. There is an eye for it. And I'm about to, like, get back into it. And I'm really excited to, because that was some of the most fun times, dude. Like, I want to start streaming. I got to admit, I'm a little intimidated by it. Yeah. But I used to do live streams every weekend on Instagram. And we would just do silly shit. We did, like, when Squid Games was a thing, all my fans got on fucking live. And then I would randomly add people and make them do silly shit. Like, this one kid drank a raw egg. And it's like, it's just silly shit. Like, oh, Squid Games, whatever. Like, I'm going to make you do bullshit. And it was funny. I want to get back into it because you'll see, like, I like funny shit. Funny guy. And I like people, bro. It's just easy for me. I'm really excited to get back into that.
Yeah, man. I totally think that you should do that because everybody wants to see stuff like that, and everybody wants to see different things. I don't know anybody that's rapping and also making, also funny.
So, T Grizzly, I don't know if you know him.
I don't know.
So T Grizzly, rapper, very successful, very big. And then he did a GTA RP, the role plays, the PC. He started streaming and built his own server. And he started doing that consistently. And then he went on an interview and is like, I make way more streaming than I make off music. And he makes a lot off music.
Right.
He's like, I make way more off streaming. He's like, stupid amount more. And I don't know. I think it's just a little intimidating because, like, I don't know. There's just, like, it's an ego thing. I'm an artist. I need to be viewed as an artist. I need to be taken serious. If I'm being funny, if I'm playing a video game, I'm not that for some reason. But it's like, nah, bro. Who gives a fuck?
Yeah.
Who gives a fuck? Like,
Yeah.
They really don't.
I mean, at the end of the day, doesn't matter.
At the end of the day, it does not fucking matter, bro. Shout out shrooms. Shout out mushrooms.
Man. One last thing. What advice would you give to somebody coming up in the music scene right now?
I would say focus more on your development than anything. Don't worry about streams, views. Worry about your development. Develop as a person. Develop as an artist. And just develop as a leader. That's the most important things.
Well, you, sir, are on the path to doing some even more amazing things that you've already done. I can't wait to see your journey. And where can people find you at?
Everywhere. You type my name on Google, I'll be the first thing you see. Kringe. Anywhere you'll find me and see what I'm about.